There are planets that simply shouldn't exist. It's not just that we haven't seen them before. It's that, based on everything we thought we knew about the cosmos, they have no right to be there. And yet, there they are, sweeping through lethal orbits, surviving impossible conditions, defying every mathematical model humanity has ever used to define reality. For decades, we were complacent. We built a cosmic order that was clean, logical, and safe. Rocky planets belonged near their parent stars to soak up the heat. Gas giants stayed in the frozen frontiers to gather their massive atmospheres. This was core accretion, a perfect model. An absolute belief that the universe operated like a precision Swiss watch. If something didn't fit, we called it migration, a convenient adjustment to protect our aging theories. We weren't seeking the truth. We were seeking comfort in the numbers we had written ourselves. But then, the universe stopped compromising. The data streaming back wasn't just a series of minor errors. It was a wake-up call to the entire astronomical community. A planet darker than coal, swallowing 99% of all light, existing in a place where it should have been incinerated long ago. Worlds where glass rain falls sideways at thousands of miles per hour. Gas giants, hugging their host stars so tightly that, by every law of thermodynamics, they should have evaporated in an instant. We didn't expect them. We didn't even have a plan to find them. It turns out that the laws we've worshipped for so long aren't universal truths. They were just convenient guesses based on our own small, mediocre solar system. What happens when reality refuses to follow its own rules? And more importantly, what happens when our understanding begins to lag behind the terrifying truth of what's actually out there? Today, we aren't just looking for new worlds. We are looking for answers to our own helplessness in the face of the universe's darkest corners. Imagine walking into a house where heat radiates from cold stone walls while the fireplace is frozen solid. In astronomy, we call these inverted systems, a deviation that, by all accounts, should never be allowed to exist. In star systems like LHS 1903, the order we worship has been completely overturned. Their small, rocky planets are pushed out to the frozen frontiers, while massive gas giants sit defiantly right next to their parent star. It contradicts everything we thought we knew about how worlds are born. According to every scientific calculation, heavy matter should cluster near the center. Light gases should drift away. That is the logic. That is the order. But looking at LS 1903, we don't see order. We see chaos. To protect our mathematical models, scientists have conjured a gallery of hypotheses: planetary scattering, disk instability, or complex gravitational dances. They sound convincing, but in reality, they are nothing more than late-stage excuses, desperate attempts to explain an event. Yes, we are looking at a crime scene long after the perpetrator has fled. Did these planets actually form there? Or were they pushed, molded, and rearranged by a force we cannot yet define? Driven by an intent that human logic simply cannot grasp. there is a deeper law operating in the shadows, a law for which we don't even have a name. The universe isn't just a harsh place, it's a life, grinding machine. There are worlds that don't just defy mathematical models, they defy the very concept of death. Look at WD 1856b, a massive, lonely gas giant orbiting an astronomical corpse, a white dwarf. To reach this state, that planet had to pass through a literal hell. When its parent star ran out of fuel, it would have swelled into a red giant, a colossal ball of fire swallowing everything in its path. Every piece of matter should have been crushed, every atmosphere stripped away. Every trace of existence should have been completely erased. And yet, when the fire died out and the star collapsed into a small, cold husk, WD 1856b was still there. It's like finding a pristine flower at the center of a nuclear crater. How did it do it? Scientists are struggling with the theories. Perhaps it hid at a vast distance and crept back in once the star's rage had passed. Or, more disturbingly, it punched through the flaming shell of the red giant, endured temperatures in the millions of degrees, and emerged from the ashes intact. If a planet can survive a disaster that wipes out an entire star system, does our definition of destruction even mean anything anymore? Or are we witnessing proof that the universe has ways of preserving existence far beyond anything human logic can imagine? We love to classify things: rocky planets, gas giants, ice worlds. We label the universe just to feel like we're in control of it. But out there are worlds that refuse to be labeled. A pacing fast or skeptical? Take a look at the so-called superpuffs, giants the size of Neptune, but with a density so impossibly low that if you could drop them into a cosmic bathtub, they would float like a piece of cotton candy. By every law of physics, these styrofoam entities should have been stripped bare by stellar radiation eons ago. They shouldn't be real. They are material mirages, taunting the scientific community with their very existence. And then we enter the Neptune Desert, a region of space hugging those blistering stars, where the heat and radiation are so savage that no mid-sized planet should be able to hold on to its atmosphere. It is a wasteland, a forbidden zone, and yet we find them there anyway. Solitary survivors, stripped and scorched, stubbornly resisting total evaporation. Act 2-second pause. Voice becomes cold. Their existence is a message to us that the map humanity has been drawing all this time is tattered. We've tried to force the universe into our narrow definitions. We want everything to be orderly, to be easy to understand. But reality doesn't care about our convenience. What if the categories of rock, gas, or ice are just fragments of a gargantuan picture we've never seen in full? Perhaps we aren't actually discovering the universe. Perhaps we are only just realizing how blind we truly are. Forget about stable orbits. Forget about sunrises and sunsets. Out there, in the ink, black void between the stars, there are worlds adrift, alone, solitary, with no sun to warm them, no parent star's gravity to guide them. We call them rogue planets, the exiled souls of the cosmos. We used to think they were rare exceptions, celestial scraps, ejected by some brutal gravitational collision. But the latest data paints a far more chilling picture. There may be billions, even trillions of these planets in our galaxy alone. They likely outnumber the stars themselves. Do you see the implication? The order we see, a brilliant star orbited by loyal planets, is actually the exception. The vast, freezing darkness filled with lonely worlds. That is the true rule of the universe. Science is at a standstill trying to define them. If it doesn't orbit a star, is it still a planet? If it's too massive but never ignites, is it just a failed star? But those labels mean nothing to them, whether it's WD 1856b or any other alphanumeric code we assign. These names are just desperate attempts to categorize things that refuse to be held. They exist in the margins, neither planet nor star. In that eternal night, these worlds are so cold that their very atmospheres may have frozen into layers of solid snow. They are drifting tombs, gliding through the silence for billions of years. And they serve as a bitter reminder that the warmth and light humanity enjoys today is nothing more than a brief accident in a universe inherently designed for darkness and solitude.